Geometry Wars 2 uses a whole new multiplier system. It's based around the geom. These tiny yellow greenish looking diamonds are dropped from enemies after they are destroyed. Picking these items up will increase your multiplier by 1. This is the only way to increase your multiplier, that and running through gates. The multiplier in Geo Wars 2 is uncapped. It also imposes new strategies and tactics. Collecting gems is sort of an art form. The player must choose whether to be aggressive or passive when collecting them. Enemies have vivid and vibrant colors, and also now have a more 3D-like effect. A new feature is the standard, non-upgradable 3-way shot. This makes the game much harder. Getting accustomed to this gun took some time. It made the controls feel sluggish and awkward, but over time, after adjustments are made, it will feel just like the original. Another noticeable thing is the music selection. Bizarre always seems to choose great music for their games, and with Geometry Wars 2, it's no exception. The dance club music from the first stage was blaring through my speakers and bumping my subwoofer. With the added game modes, this should appeal to more of the casual gamers who couldn't quite grasp the hard difficulty level of Evolved. There are 6 game modes in Geometry Wars 2. Each unlockable by playing the previous level before it. The first mode is called Deadline. In this mode, the player has 3 minutes to score as much points as possible. There are unlimited lives, but be careful though. Since time is of utmost importance, it's a great idea to have a strategy before you go into this level. The next mode is called King. In this mode, the player must navigate into circles to fire. There are 3 blue circles that are on the screen at any one time. Activating the circle by either touching or enter it will turn it green. After approximately 3 seconds, the circle will turn red and begin to collapse. At this point, you're fair game to any enemy. It's best to plan ahead as the game progresses. The next mode is a polished version of the original Geometry Wars. In this mode, many of the enemies from the first one appear, and some new ones. In this mode, it's an all-out score fest. The only difference with this version and the old version is that lives are now few and far between, as well as bombs. A bit more planning and strategy must be utilized to be successful in this mode. The next mode is called Pacifism. In this mode, the player cannot shoot at all. Instead, he must make his way through barbell-looking objects called gates. When a player enters through the gates, a tiny explosion occurs. Any enemy near the gate will be destroyed. But be warned that the proximity of the explosion is very small. But as it is with every mode in this game, the longer you play, the more enemies fill the screen. Evasion tactics are a necessity to survive this mode. The next mode is called Waves. Taken from Project Gotham Racing 4, the user must plow through waves and waves of orange ships, along with other baddies. Waves will gradually get more and more intense with more waves of orange ships cluttering the screen. Orange ships will come from every side of the screen, so be aware. The last mode is called Sequence. In this mode, there are 20 levels. Each level has a 30-second timer. Enemies on these levels are all fixed. The player must dispatch of them before the time runs out. If time runs out, the level will be deemed incomplete. The player will not lose any lives though. If the player is hit by an enemy, that will immediately end the level. There is some strategy involved in Sequence because you only have a certain amount of lives and a certain amount of bombs for the 16 level. The last much to fault Geometry Wars 2 on. Great gameplay, beautiful visuals, non-stop action, and frenetic pace. Bizarre always seems to do an excellent choice with their musical compositions and arrangements. There are only two small issues with this game. The first being, all characters now have a neon tinge to them. While this looks great, it does cause a veiling action as more and more enemies enter the screen and eventually explode, hiding certain colors underneath the explosions. And the second issue is the dual fire gun. Not a deal breaker by any means, but did take some time to get used to. And I'm sure most players coming from Geometry Wars 1 will agree. With polished gameplay and 6 new game modes, adds a lot of replay value to this game. Geometry Wars 2 is more of an addiction than it is a game. Bazaar did an excellent job with this second addition to the Geometry Wars series on the Xbox 360. Not only are the graphics better, but the gameplay feels even tighter than the previous version. Throw in all the pretty color enhancements and 3D objects, and even the explosions as well. Bazaar now gives you the option not only to enjoy this great game, but now there's the option of tripping balls. The score and breakdown for Geometry Wars 2 is as follows. Gameplay receives a 9 out of 10. The game is frenetic, quick, and reaction-based. What more could you ask for in a video game? Controls are smooth and straightforward. Control with your left analog stick and shoot with your right. The music in this game also receives a 9 out of 10, ranging from mostly dance-oriented music to a breakbeat type rhythm of the original music. Graphics receive an 8.5 out of 10. While the graphics have great clarity and vibrant color in HD, this game does not have any jaw-dropping graphics. But it's not the graphics that make this game, it's the gameplay. Overall, Geometry Wars received an 8.8 out of 10, with 6 game modes and polished new gameplay at only $10 allows for maximum replay value.